to BuffaloPlus.com. Mike Catalana, Dan Fates. I'm Jenna Cottrell. We're talking about what Sean McDermott, the Bills head coach, had to say yesterday. The fact that this offseason, as we all know, is very strange in the NFL. It affects every team, but how can the Bills make the most out of these couple months?
It's a massive advantage for them. I mean, look, this league is set up to everything being equal. You know, they do the draft. The worst team picks first. The schedule is modified for the worst teams. You know, they give the new coaches extra time. This is a big advantage for the Bills. Head coach is back. Offensive coordinator's back. Quarterback's back. Offensive line is back. Look, it's a weird year. These teams are struggling. If you have a new head coach and a new system, it's going to be tough, Dan.
Yeah, that would absolutely be the worst time to change your head coach or to try and install a new offense. Look, I understand that the Bills' offense wasn't prolific last year, and to be more specific, they didn't score enough points.
But way to be specific.
I just want to make sure that
we reference this all the time. Let's tell everybody. Dan asked the question. Sean McDermott, who never gets rattled.
Yeah, I asked
rattled.
Yeah, I can't remember what game.
Fates.
I couldn't remember what game it was after, but I just asked him if he was frustrated with his offense. That was my question, and he asked me to be more specific. I don't know. You don't score points. I don't know. And then he went back and said, "Well, what do you mean?" And I said, "You're 25th in the offense in scoring. You're only scoring 20 points a game. Does that frustrate you?" And he said, "We want to score points." So that's when we always joke around that I have to be more specific in these blogs. But I will say that did fire up the offense the second half of the season. I think I deserve.
You were the catalyst.
You were the guy.
Thank you. Hand up, all me. But Mike, exactly what you're saying. Look, the offense showed signs of improvement at times, especially towards the end of the year. And I think this is something they can just build off of. Look, Josh Allen is still working out. The team is still being able to install things on Zoom and with iPads and FaceTimes. Like, I think they're not building a new recipe. They're just kind of tweaking it. And I think, like you said, Mike, that is massive right now in this offseason because fingers crossed, we're going to have an NFL season.
Chef McDermott. All right. But because of that, because of the stability that the Bills have, do you feel like that adds more pressure to this team, considering they've been a playoff team in the past? They haven't gotten over that hump of winning a playoff game. Do you think that means that everything is going to be like, okay, this is the year that they have to put it all together?
Who's the pressure on? The pressure's on Josh Allen. I mean, let's be honest. They drafted him. He's been good, but they want him to step up. Everything they've done, build that offensive line. They brought in Beasley and Brown. Now they have two really good running backs. We certainly think Zach Moss is going to be good.
Right.
You bring in Stephon Diggs. Like, you're saying to Josh Allen, okay, Josh, this isn't year one. This is year 3. If there's pressure on anybody, I guess it's on Brian Daboll too. He's the coordinator, but it's really on the quarterback. It's no doubt it's on the quarterback.
And I think that's so interesting because we look at how great of a job Beane and McDermott have done in turning this team around in such a short time and reworking the cap and rebuilding this roster where, you know, Zay Jones and Deontay Thompson were, you know, the star wide receivers not that long ago. It was not that long ago.
It wasn't.
But it's scary. You know, it's crazy to think that Beane and McDermott, their biggest move has been Josh Allen. And he is going to take this team as far as they need to go. And where we can say this is a weird offseason, I don't think Josh Allen is going to get a pass. I think he's the one guy specifically that the goalpost will continue to be moved for him.
And Jenna, I'm really curious as to how the fans react to that. You know, I get it. Everybody's supportive of Josh. We all like Josh Allen. I mean, he's a good guy, a hard worker, great team guy. But now this team, I think the team is on a higher trajectory than Josh has been. And that's in fairness to him. It's a tough position to play. But this team got good. Then they got a lot better. They became a playoff team, and he's been good. But he's got to keep rising his level of play. And I think the fans are going to realize it isn't all Josh. Like, he's got a lot of players around him, so he's got to play well.
Absolutely. Now, I know for you guys, who are you most looking forward to as we look to the season, you know, hopefully starting on time? Is there a player in your mind that you're like, wow, I really want to see this guy play?
I'll go back to Devin Singletary or Dawson Knox, two guys that showed flashes where all of a sudden when they would make a play, when Dawson Knox would, you know, run a guy over in Cincinnati, or when Devin Singletary would make a guy just look silly against the Redskins, you look at that and you see, like, that is special talent. And Brandon Beane said when they drafted Devin Singletary, he was the most fun guy. He got to scout and all of those things. So I think those guys can help Josh Allen. We just talked about for a minute and a half about Josh Allen, the pressures on him. those guys are going to need to make Josh Allen better. I know Stephon Diggs would be the easy answer, but I look at guys that are continuing to grow. Dawson Knox didn't catch a touchdown since his JV year in high school. Like, all of a sudden he became like a viable force, and maybe this guy that could improve this offense, because I love Lee Smith. He drinks moonshine. He's awesome, but he's not going to catch any more touchdowns, I don't think, this year.
Yeah, Jen, I don't know if you guys heard my phone was ringing. It was Devin Singletary calling me.
Cool.
Of course.
There's pressure on him. How about that? 1 year in the league, 3rd round pick, you do really well. Well, guess what? They drafted Zach Moss. Now, I'm not saying they were disappointed at all with Singletary, and he was really good last year.
Yeah.
But it's not like he was a superstar. There's a level to go up, and I think he's got it in him. I really like him. I like the way he plays. I think he's tough. He breaks tackles, does a lot of things. But it isn't Frank Gore. I love Frank Gore. It isn't Frank Gore behind him now.
Callie.
It's Zach Moss. Yeah.
I had to mention Frank Gore.
Every time we talk. Yeah.
And the Eagles won a Super Bowl, I'm aware.
I didn't mention that at all. I just went the Frank Gore route. But with Singletary, like, okay, you're not even the young running back anymore. After 1 year, you're now the veteran. And the young running back is Zach Moss. So, and I'm not saying there's pressure like he hasn't done it. He excelled last year.
Absolutely.
But there's another step for him to take. And I think he can really help Josh Allen this year.
How funny is that we keep, looking back on it now, you go, well, I think Josh made big steps last year.
Yeah.
And it was funny because, Mike, we always talked about it. Fairly or unfairly, the goalpost keeps getting moved back for Josh. That's all of a sudden Josh has a good game, and it's like, cool, now you need to have a better game.
Yeah.
Or you need to have another good game. And that's unfortunately the role of a quarterback. Look, Patrick Mahomes had a slow start to the season last year. And all of a sudden he was, this superstar MVP, and all of a sudden it was like, hey, he's human. That's the life of an NFL quarterback.
Look at look at Dak Prescott in Dallas, right? The guy was a 4th round pick. And there is immense pressure on that guy. And now he's going to likely get paid, but he's been in the playoffs. He's won a playoff game. He's had outstanding games. He's thrown for 300 yards multiple times. Yet it's like, okay, Dak, you got to prove something. You got to prove something. So to Bills fans and being protective of Josh, this is the life, as Dan just said, this is the life of an NFL quarterback. You're good. The team is really good. You got to step it up.
Yeah, and I think you can absolutely make the case that that's the moving the goalposts back applies to the Bills as a whole in general. Yeah. Like the way when Sean McDermott came in, the fact that the team was in that 17-year playoff drought, they made the playoffs, they barely snuck their way in, and then it was like, okay, they were going to tear everything down and build everything back up. So you're wanting to see that progression. But there is one thing that I did want to talk about. We didn't get the chance to talk about yesterday. Sean McDermott saying Lorenzo Alexander is staying in shape just in case.
He's got a new
I love
room.
that so much. I love that.
Well, that's just classic Zoe of just constantly being in a coach's ear, just being like, hey, I could still give you like 30 snaps. Like, I could still do it. And he showed off his weight room and all of those things. But you guys caught up with him at the NFL Honors. And
yes, in Miami.
He's going to enjoy being dad. Just dad.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Look, I just thought it was funny to hear that.
I know Lorenzo well. We went to high school together.
You wish.
No, seriously. I think he's comfortable being.
You were his homeroom teacher?
No, I think he's comfortable saying, I've gotten to that far, but man, when this season starts, it's going to get to him. It's okay. You can be comfortable saying it's time for me to retire and still miss it a lot. And I think when the season comes around, but by the way, he's not getting out of shape either. Like he said, he'll be ready. He told us that. He's like, I've been there before. He's been over 300.
Yeah.
He's like, I ain't going back there again. His wife's not going to let him.
I don't blame her. I don't blame her. On the request of Mike, we each are having, sorry, my light, I'm going to turn this down. It's going out, but we are going to it's like a rave, actually. It's like blinking back and forth, but we're going to do rapid fire the shows that we should binge watch. So Mike, let's start with you.
He's going to take my show.
I don't think I'm taking your show. I got a new one because we had basically watched everything. We finished Netflix. It's on Netflix. It's sports related. The guy's name is Kyle Chandler. Friday Night Lights, the show. Well,
Yeah.
he's in a show called Bloodlines. And it was on Netflix. 3 seasons on Netflix. So
Okay.
it didn't get renewed after 3 years. We've watched 1 season of it. It's about a family in the Keys, 3 brothers, a sister, the mom, the dad.
It's how families work.
It's a family.
Oh, yeah. It's
It's
okay.
a family.
It's drug running. It's murder. It's all those
I
things.
thought it was sports related.
Oh, no. The only sports related was it's Kyle Chandler, the guy who was in Friday Night Lights. He's one of the brothers.
This
Oh,
podcast
What other
is this blog has gone off the rails.
I wanted to tie it to sports in a way. Bloodlines,
okay.
Netflix, really good.
Okay. All right.
Speaking of 3 seasons, we talked with Reed Ferguson about this, Jenna. Absolutely phenomenal. If Mike talks to murder and all of that,
Yeah.
Ozark is the
Ozark.
show to absolutely watch.
Who turned you on to Ozark?
You guys did. You
Yeah.
did.
It's
I was gonna
fantastic.
say I don't watch it, but if we're
Oh.
gonna talk about murder, we've been watching The Wire, which I
Yeah.
had never seen before. Fantastic! It's so good. I know why it's a cult classic now. And
know what's
I
the
will
best?
say,
It's the best because you got the old school like cell phones.
Oh
and
my God, the
everything when you
pagers?
press.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
so it was interesting because in season 1, there's a moment where there's the gif of like the guy who's surprised, who's like looking like
Yeah.
that. It's
Let's
Weebay.
go.
I can't do it. It's a good screen grab for our thumbnail.
Yeah.
But I saw the GIF happen in real time. First time that's
Quite a
ever
moment. Quite a
happened.
moment,
I know.
wasn't it?
So 2020. I love it. All
So
right, we're officially off the rails.
We've given some good ideas. Ozark's great. Bloodlines is great. And The Wire is spectacular.
It's a classic. All
There
right.
you go.
Well, for Mike Catalana and Dan Fates, I'm Jenna Cottrell. Make sure to subscribe and like Buffalo.
We're getting a lot of subscribers, by the way.
We
Even
are. I'm so
despite
it's
the fact
exciting.
that you can't finish this
I
podcast.
can't say
In
subscribe
comments.
There you
or
go.
like.
In comments.
Yeah. So thank you for the support. We appreciate it. I'm gonna stop talking because I can't. But stay healthy out there.